Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar on the TTConnect Cloud Service, our IoT gateway. Before we start, I just wanted to give everyone a quick reminder. My colleague Musti sent out an email to pretty much everybody in internal, external sales regarding some feedback on and some questions regarding the sensor, the Australian market range sensor presentation the webinar that I did a couple of weeks ago. Can you please send Musi some feedback, and because I really want to get back to all the questions and create some more content regarding that. Following this webinar, I'll also ask some more questions and some feedback regarding this, and also I will be able to give you access to the cloud service, and you'll be able to log in and view what the dashboards look like. And part of that prerequisite will be that you have replied to Musti and provided with some feedback regarding both the Australian market range pressure sensors webinar and this webinar. And then after this webinar, I will be doing another session on the TTConnect cloud service, a quick refresher, plus a presentation of the cloud where everybody can follow along with their own personal login. So now let's start with the TTConnect cloud. Please note that if you have questions, just record them and I'll get to them at the end of the presentation. So the agenda for today, we'll be discussing the TTConnect cloud service, the service packages, the roadmap, and the starter kit that we have available today. So as you are aware, HYDAC has quite a vertical offering of capability and products all the way up from individual components, from sensors, actuators, power components, the pumps, motors, valves, and electronics, the ECUs and the IO modules, the PLCs, as well. Plus, we are able to write software with the ACE team. We can also do HMI screens. But today we're going to focus on the connectivity and cloud platform. There will be a series of webinars following this on our controller range and our controller family, and one will be presented in about 2 weeks' time. So let's first look at the benefits of data, or what the features or the benefits to our customers of why they should potentially look at this product. For example, let's have a look at OEMs. The ability to monitor their machine or recover warranty costs and understand how their customers are using the machine could be valuable to the customer, especially in particular, let's say, warranty claims. One of the other features we'll be able to do and I'll explain in the roadmap, is the ability to do software upgrades for the OEM, like manage software remotely. But I think a key immediate benefit for an OEM would be the warranty and recovery costs. So having data visibility on what and how their machines are being used. For fleet owners, they can manage the machines better, understand the degradation or deterioration of their system to see if it is failing. Predictive analytics is a big one, and understanding on machine uptime, so being able to maintain and service the machine in a accurate way. And for end users, the people using the machine, is the ability to provide reports or see how their machines are also being used. Is the asset being utilized, and things like that. So there's a lot of benefits or potential use cases for customers, and we can explore that further. If you've thought of some more during this webinar, please write it down and provide me with some feedback, and we can continue this discussion. So now, what does our solution look like? And the important thing to note here is we offer the complete solution, from the hardware to the cloud and the database storage of the data. And this is the TTConnect cloud, the TTConnect Wave, the physical device. It's sitting out in front of Peter's office if you want to have a look. The hardware itself, that this is what we install, and this is the device that connects to the internet, sends the data to the cloud. So we physically have these in stock, and important to note, we have the 4G Australian variants as well, and they are certified to be used in Australia and New Zealand as well. So, which is a very unique market advantage that not many of our competitors have. So please keep that in mind. Now, in terms of the whole solution, as I mentioned before, we have the hardware itself, the TTConnect Wave, which is the black box. We also offer the SIM card. So we offer an Austrian SIM card that has roaming agreements with all the providers in Australia and New Zealand. And the reason why we should offer our SIM card is, I'll go in in terms of security and the way the data is transferred, but it also we manage the data subscription and the payments for the SIM card, so also reduces the hassle for the customer. Plus, we offer the cloud solution online portal. And when I refer to cloud solution, I'm also referring to the fact that we are hosting the data in a remote server. The cloud is backed up in 2 locations. The main database is in Austria. The secondary database is in Germany. So all the data is backed up twice. It is backed up in 2 different physical locations. And that, in terms of a value add to a customer, is they don't have to manage that service. It is very expensive to build up a server, to manage the security, to manage all the stuff you have to do with IT to continually manage a complex product like that. And in terms of another solution, we offer getting the data off the machine, buffering the data, and sending it to cloud. And I will go into a bit more detail of that. So please note, we offer the complete solution, which is quite a rare thing. So it is a very unique out-of-the-box product. Let's have a look at the connectivity features of the hardware itself. So you'll see a few of the things are grayed out, like, for example, the Wi-Fi and the USB, and I'll explain that in a second. So the connectivity options, we offer 2G, 3G, and 4G, because the 3G network will be switched off, and we will only, the latest variant has all of them included with the Australian certification. That is a very, very important thing to note, is we have the CTIC approval to use this device in Australia and New Zealand. So again, a lot of parties sell products like this that don't have that CTIC, and we do. So please, when you do discuss with customers, please remind them of that. The Wi-Fi interface here, you see it's a bit grayed out. That means it has the capability of Wi-Fi, but at the moment it's not implemented in software. There is a roadmap available for there is a roadmap that they're going to implement a Wi-Fi feature, and I can discuss that in the next webinar we do when we follow up on this. We offer GPS and GLONASS, and the only difference is the GPS is the American-based positioning system. GLONASS is, I'm pretty sure, a Russian-based system, so it operates all over Europe. So if you have customers exporting these machines, it is certified there. Also, along with the certifications in Australia, it is also certified in a lot of other countries, and we can get a list for you later, but the Australian one is generally the most unique one. So it has the CAN interface, and I will discuss that there. So everyone should be aware of CAN. Our TT Control products operate on the CAN network, and I'll explain why this device and how it works with the machine. The Ethernet interface is enabled, but please note this is only purely for debugging and software updates at the developer level. So there is no industrial protocols or standard Ethernet protocols enabled in there. So please just do not offer the Ethernet interface to customers at this point. And there is also a USB port. TTC are thinking about what to do with that, and so they're still evolving that product and seeing how to implement that. Now let's have a look at quick in depth into the hardware, and this is very important to note. So it's quite a powerful processor that lives on the wave itself, and it has quite a large RAM, and also has a flash. The flash of 4 gigs, so it has 4 gigabyte storage on the device. Now you're thinking, okay, that may not be a lot. You know, our phones now have 256 gig, 512 gig, terabyte or whatnot, but we are only storing numbers. So 4 gigabytes of numbers is a lot of data. And the reason why we have 4 gigabyte is, for example, if there is no internet connection, like a cellular connection, no 2G, 3G, or 4G, the wave itself actually buffers the data, timestamps the data, and then when next time there's a connection, it'll send the data to the cloud. So again, the complete solution has been really thought of. So to implement something like that from scratch requires a lot of effort. And so there's been thousands of hours of software development that has gone into this device. So a lot of know-how, a lot of thought, and a lot of experience has went into this to figure out how to develop a out-of-the-box product. So again, went through some of the wireless interfaces. It has some inputs and outputs, which is not enabled in software yet, but they're physically there. So again, it's in the pipeline. and the interfaces that we're talking about. So the voltage supply is interesting to note, 6 to 32 volt. It's suitable for mobile because, you know, mobile machinery can operate at 12 volt, 24 volt, but when you're cranking and turning on the engine, the battery, the voltage drops. So this device doesn't turn off. The voltage drops just when you're powering up the unit. The minus 40 to 85 degrees in the temperature environment that it can operate in coincides with our minus 40 to 85 degrees of our controllers. So it's a ruggedized unit, is designed for mobile, designed for the automotive sector from that point of view. So it is fit for purpose. It has the high IP ratings, and these certifications are European certifications, and along with that, it also has the CTIC, which is very important to know. And when I mentioned the SIM cards, we also do provide the SIM card, and the main thing is part of the security point of view. So because we provide the SIM card, the SIM card has been configured in such a way that it has a private connection or a private APN to the database in Austria. So that means that the data or the information that the wave is sending is not traversing through the public internet. So it's a direct tunnel from the wave to the database, to the warehouse, or like the data center. So very important to note. So there's no complex configuration of VPNs, which you have to do set up one by one every single time you release a product. This is really out of the box and a nice feature. So a big benefit to why customers should go with our SIM card. Offers SSL encryption, so it is directly communicating to the server, to the database through in an encrypted method. So there's a bit more information, and it gets quite in depth, so we can discuss that if required. And there's also a firewall on the gateway itself to protect them from any intrusion. Now let's have a quick look at the Connect, like what the dashboard looks like. And as I mentioned before, I can give you access to these dashboards, and it is a website, and you can log in. You can show your customers from your phone, from your mobile, any device that has internet connectivity and has a web browser like Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, or anything like that. So if you do want that, please get back to me with a request saying that you would like access, and we can create an account for you. But also please get back to Musti on the sensor questions and some feedback on this one and any questions on this, and I'll personally be following that up. So, and because once in probably 2 or 3 weeks, I will also do a follow-up webinar on this. And like I said, we will log into the cloud platform, and we'll go over every single function and do a quick walkthrough on this. So, and we can go that in bit in depth. But for now, as you can see, this is what the web page could look like for example, an elevator working platform. And on the left-hand side, you can see that we have our, I guess, the sidebar, and you can have groups and you can have subgroups. So this would be, for example, if your customer is operating a fleet of machines in New South Wales, Victoria, etc., they could have one group for New South Wales, one group for Victoria, one group for Western Australia, for example, and then the customer can actually have role-based access, so they can only view that particular group. So maybe our service partners only want to give access to their customers a certain particular, like an asset tree or something like that. So under each group, we can assign a wave or an asset, and then they can only see that particular asset. So, and then you can see the alarms and things like that. But now if we move to the main part of the dashboard, we see up just below the demo_wave, there's a demo_1 aerial platform, demo_2 aerial platform. These are what we call dashboards. So we can have a number of different dashboards, and they can be configurable and customized and things like that. So we can actually customize what you can view there. And these are all inbuilt widgets, apart from the ones which show the lift itself, the elevator working platform. And this is pretty cool. So this is a nice feature of the cloud platform or the online portal, is the customer can create his own or their own or her own widgets, and pretty much they're dynamic. So all these, like where you see 10 degrees on the yaw, or 0 kilometers an hour on the movement and things like that, on the 15 degrees on the yaw as well. That's all dynamic. So you can actually embed your own custom numbers to it. So it's very flexible. And I also forgot to mention, the way this wave works is it taps into an existing CAN bus on the machine. And all it is you configure the messages that you want to listen to on the cloud platform. And generally, because we're working with the customers who have designed the machines or programmed the machines and know the type of message structure that they have sending on their CAN bus, we just configure, or the customer themselves just configure the messages. And I will go into a bit more depth into that when we do the walkthrough on the cloud platform on the dashboards. But it's quite easy. So literally, just if you have say an existing customer has an existing machine, even from a competitor CAN control system, as long as they're running CAN bus and they know what their message IDs are and they know where the data is in that message ID, we can actually log that data and send it to the cloud, which is really nice. So we don't have, the customer doesn't need to reprogram their machine, so we can just send the gateway to them, they install it, plug in the CAN high and the CAN low, and we're done. And it's quite an easy installation. And then once the device is turned on, we register it on the cloud platform. Again, all out of the box. It's quite intuitive. And then we add message IDs and we assign them to widgets. And these are the stock standard widgets that are available. We have, data, like a trend, we can view graphs. We have an info gauge that just shows like a gauge, a silo or a linear gauge. It shows, you can have customized warnings or high alarms. Same thing here, radial gauge with like a warning and an alarm area. Images, alarms list, asset properties, so you can view like the health of the asset or the GPS signal. GPS-based geotagging and tracking, so we can actually view the history of where this thing moves. So for example, if your customer has a fixed asset, one of the jokes you can say, you can put on there and see if it moves overnight type of thing. So hopefully no fixed assets move, but for mobile assets, it's quite interesting to see how they're being used. You can also do geofencing. So you actually draw on the map on the cloud platform where this machine is supposed to operate. And then if it moves out of that area, you will get an alarm. So you can get an email alarm and you can escalate that alarm and things like that. So for any information that you put onto the platform, you can generate alarms. You can generate smart reporting. You can generate alarms based on exception and things like that. So it's very powerful, and we can go into more detail. If you have more questions about that, please let me know. The other main thing is we can also do bi-directional communication now. So we can send messages back to the machine via the cloud platform. So if you want to change set points or turn things on and off, within reason and things like that, the customer can do that. So, and this is another what we call a SCADA image. So similar to the EWP pictures you've seen, you would have seen this screen on the 7-inch HMI. So we can recreate a 7-inch HMI, like exactly what the HMI shows on their dashboard, and have all the dynamic, all the data updating as well. So it's very, very flexible. There is work involved to create something like that, but it is quite straightforward, and we do have guides on how to create that. And we've created this. Once you log in, you'll see some of the custom widgets we've created. So again, on the right, you can have transmit. You can set different lifting or different interlocks and things like that, which is quite interesting. So it's quite intuitive. If you move things around, they move around, and if you move the widgets around, then it's very flexible, and you'll see next time. Yeah, you can see the device management, and from here we can actually update the device firmware itself. So when I'm talking about the device firmware, I'm talking about the physical gateway. We can update when there's a new release, and when TT Control continually updated, we update this via the cloud. So we don't have to go physically to the device and connect to it and program it. So that is a very nice feature, and we can see what's happening here. The important thing to note is, because this is a cloud service, we have different service packages available. So each one of them has their own cost, and going from there. And we do have list pricing available, so please let me know, and I can share the list pricing if you want to have a discussion with your customer. So there is after this, if you do send me an email requesting access to the cloud platform, I have another document which is a how to sell guide, and it explains each one of these cloud service packages. So once you've gotten back to Musti and send me an email, I will send you the how to sell guide, which has a lot more information and goes into more depth of what I've discussed on everything. So the most important thing here to note is there's three cloud service packages available, and the fourth one is a custom cloud. This custom cloud means that the customer can have their own color and their own corporate logo on there, and their login will be, for example, let's say like terex.ttcontrol.cloud or a particular customer. So very important to note, if the customer wants some sort of personalization or customization, that's available. The items that are grayed out are the features that are still not available in software but are in the roadmap, and I will discuss and I will go through that. But the most important thing is even the standard package offers the main components of the main components that you would ever be interested in. So data monitoring 1 minute. So now let's have a look further into this 1 minute. This means the 1 minute update or sending the data from the device, the physical device on the machine, to the cloud. And the reason why the 1 minute is still is suitable is because the device buffers the data. So the wave itself buffers the data, and you can actually pick if you want the min, max, or the average of that the parameter that you're trying to send to the cloud. So that does two things. That allows me or allows the customer to not have a high data bill because we're being smart about how we use the data. We don't need to see the machine live every 10 milliseconds. We can do that if required because we will soon be able to log data onto the wave and extract it via the cloud at 10 millisecond intervals. But you don't need to send data to the cloud every 10 milliseconds. Even 1 minute in some cases may be too fast. You could potentially also do it once every half hour or something like that. But because you get to pick if you want a min, max, or an average within that time frame. So it's very, very important to know like how we use data and things like that. So again, you have location mapping, report generation, alarming, things like that. So again, remote alarms is a really, really nice feature where the customer or the user will receive an alarm and via email, and then they can go on and acknowledge it, and you can have a full history of alarms, see when the timestamp was, go look at some data. So it's all about how do we use this platform, and what are the benefits to the customer. So you can do some really cool stuff with it. The advanced package offers more data and advanced data monitoring. What that will be is a faster update rate. Instead of 1 minute, we'll go down to potentially up to 3 seconds, dependent on internet connection. So again, requires a high traffic allowance or data allowance. The remote desktop VNC, what this does, it allows someone to connect to the cloud and then via the cloud connect to the HMI and see live what the HMI is doing. So this may be usable if someone calls you up and says, hi, I cannot get this machine up and running. The OEM can connect via that to that HMI, have a look at what's going on, look at all the interlocks, see if the customer hasn't placed a certain setting or something like that, and then they can do that via the cloud, which is a really nice feature because the only way to do that now, you have to have third-party hardware, VPNs, IP addresses connecting and things like that. So this is quite an easy solution, and that will all be done through that website or through the dashboards. The Advanced Plus again offers just higher data rate and a few other features. The custom cloud, if we go back to it, you have access to these JavaScript API. So that allows you to create your own widgets. So if you're dealing with people who are in the web development space or customers that are looking to create a sort of platform like this, and they would generally have someone who's in charge of web development, and that would be of interest to them, of having that ability. So now the roadmap, if we go forward, so we're at the end of 2019, as we said, the 4G variants and plus the 14 countries worldwide, that is the certification for Australia. So that has been a really big win, and we should leverage that in the market. So you can see the Q3 implementations are done. So we can do the bidirectional CAN communication. Symbol file importer, all that is if you have a database of CAN messages that you would like to view, you can just upload that database into the dashboard, onto the online portal, and you can configure the messages quite easily. So we can go a bit more into detail. So that's quite an advanced feature. If you have a look here, Q4 2019, there's a feature that they're implementing is called firmware updates on the controllers. This is going to be huge. So this will give us the ability to update the software or the program that's on the controller itself. So instead of having anyone to go on site and physically connect to the device, we can now update the controller from the cloud platform. So this was different to when I said we can update the firmware on this, which is what we can do now. But now we can actually update they call it firmware, but it is just the software, what's running on the controller. So if we have a bug or we need to do a change and things like that. So, this offers a huge amount of flexibility to the customer and doesn't lock them into they have machines, 100, 300, 400 machines around Australia. This is a really nice management tool for them. In 2020, they're looking to implement this thing called a Codis's Gateway. This is interesting because this will allow programmers to go online and debug the PLC whilst the PLC is running or whilst the controller is running. It's different to being able to update the controllers, because if we just update the controllers, we can't see how the logic is stepping through. But with a Codis's Gateway, we'll now be able to do that. And that'll only be available to be on our 500 family series and on our HMIs, not on our 30 and the 50 families. So please note that. And part of the webinar series, I'll probably do a webinar on just some quick basic, what a program looks like and some very basic logic. So just some more information on what's available, what will be available when for each package. This presentation will also be available in PDF form under my folder in R drive. Now for a starter kit, we have these starter kits in stock. We have 2 of these in stock. Plus we also have a large volume, I think over about 30 Connect Wave 4Gs in stock. So we're ready to go to market and go from there. So this is just a starter kit that provides, has 8 hours of support included, has the advanced package, and you'll read that in the how to sell guide. And we'll go from, so it provides everything for the customer to get started. The other important thing to note, and we will discuss in more detail, it is a complex topic, is the service agreement with the cloud subscription. So it is a annual based subscription, and it is renewed annually. Generally, we start off with a 3-year subscription, and then we continue from there. So we need to have that conversation with the customer about the subscription fees and the ongoing costs. And that's it from me. Thank you very much. Now, any questions? Ivan, I will get back to you on the firewall. Albert, yes, I will be able to. So the question was, can you update the controller through the TTConnect Wave? When the latest firmware will come out, we will be able to do that. At the moment, we can't. So another question is, what is the advantage of the TTConnect in comparison of other brands and competitors? So we offer the complete solution from start to finish. There is going to not be many differences between the online portals, because a lot of the companies are using a brand called Cumulocity. For example, STW is also using Cumulocity, which is what we are using. The features and the benefits will be in how the software is managed. Say, for example, can we manage the software of the controllers that are connected to the Wave? Can we update them remotely? How does the buffering work? What other features can we program into the Wave or into the hardware that we have? So it's going to be an evolving product, and a lot of companies will have similar sort of products available, but it's more about how the complete solution goes in. And on the how to sell guide, they do have a comparison against for companies like IFM, Danfoss, Parker, and things like that on how they all work. And that is no more questions. So please get back to Musti on the Australian market range and pressure sensors questions, and then send me an email if you would like access to that. I will check. Would like to have some feedback on all this and before we issue out the cloud access. Thank you very much, and let me know if you have any other questions.